Now, when Julian first approached me, and that was about nearly 2 months ago, I think, to speak at this summit, that was when ChatGPT was launched. And I thought, hey, I could kill two birds with one stone, because I was intrigued by all this news about ChatGPT. I said, well, I need to do the reading up. Now all I need to do is share it, right? So, and then I realized that I had walked into a huge rabbit hole, and I'm still falling. Because it appeared then to be something very simple. Then it occurred to me that every day there was something new. And when I thought that, oh, okay, now I get it. This is what I'm going to talk about. Tomorrow, something else would pop up to contradict everything that I thought was the right thing to say. And of course, not being the smartest person in the room, I'd reach out to people smarter, more digital savvy than myself. And I was bombarded, emails, WhatsApp, Line, everything. Videos, articles, audio clips. And this is where we are today, work in progress. So I am so sorry that at the end of this session, you're not going to get a definitive word on AI. You're going to get bloody work in progress. Right. So the AI bomb went off like close to 2 months ago. And very quickly, we were bombarded by the viral sensation that could completely reset how we do things. 10 billion in from Microsoft, this will put AI in the hands of masses. It's the new Shakespeare, right? And everyone's favorite term, game changer. But that was all on ChatGPT. And that's only part of the story. That's Mid-Journey. Something I can't pronounce. And more. Lots more. And stuff that could make us look a whole lot better than the way we look. So you can be pretty sure this is me, right? And stuff that will do things that I want to do because I like money. It makes music too. So, and I tried this, lyrics, melodies, everything. So if you have a client that comes to you and says, I want a jingle, and the client can live with something that is not too annoying, you've lost a client, okay? And scripts, videos, audio, everything. And then, ta-da, from influencers to the virtual influencer. This came out of Singapore. Now, when there's something new, when there's money to be made, agencies are never far behind. This is a section of an agency network I used to work with. And their opinion is that we can either fear it, fight it, and eventually let it win. So they're quite sure AI will win. Or we can embrace it, use it, tune it, train it, and co-create it, and win together. I'm going to share with you, so I toyed around with this. I'm going to share with you some of the work that you can do when you get onto the platform. And then we'll see how well they do. But meanwhile, let's see just how powerful AI is. In this interview, it is, if you believe them, it is clearly smarter than everyone in this room. And a third of universities will go broke. I mean, come on, they should have come up with this earlier, then I wouldn't have to send 2 kids to medical school, right? We're talking about a Lambo and a Ferrari there, right? Where was the AI when I needed it, right? Andy, who worked with me, and the other day, he was looking for info. He has a problem with fungus. He was looking for info and tried Google. There's nothing useful. Then he tried ChatGPT and said, brilliant, I found everything I needed. Now, that's good news and bad news. So 80% of Alphabet's revenue comes from Google Ads. Now we know why Microsoft dumped $10 billion in there. Copywriting. A friend, a copywriter, sorry I'm blocking your view, did this prompt, and I read this, and I said, hey, if I were a junior copywriter, I would go find a job in tech or banking, right? And then someone asked, it's like list of benefits, right? And then it goes on, beginning to sound like a politician here, so I won't waste time. Well, even our friend Ryan Reynolds got in, and he found it mildly terrifying. That's his language. Then a friend of mine he's from Cyprus, but he works in Shanghai. Bit of truth here. He cannot draw. But he did all this using Midjourney. And I went like, what? And he did all this. The designer, the illustrator, they are finished. All this from a person who can't draw. And then I said to Barris, hey, I can't draw. Let me try it. And I did this. My prompt was a cat with 9 tails against a forest. Gave me 4, and I pushed it, gave me another 4. I wish I could sell this. And I push it a little further. I said, upscale it. I want more detail, make it more granular, and see what I got. And that's me. So not fibbing. And then the Chinaman in me kicked in. What if we got the greatest of all time, the GOAT, to play badminton? See? He can. All you need is a little prompt. What isn't possible? So it appears that anything is possible. It can even tell a joke. Yeah. But there are things it can't and won't do yet. So I try to trick Midjourney. It's just like imagine a person with mechanical arms choking himself, and says, "We're going to lock you out for this. You're not allowed to do that." We'll see. So, with all these possibilities, is AI then a force for good? Maybe. Now, if I'm rushing through, and I am, it's because I actually have like 3 days of material that I'm squeezing into 30 minutes. So not every problem can be solved. And now I bring us back to the agency that has an AI platform, and they're saying that, look, this is the way forward. For some strange reason, they call themselves the uncreative agency. All right. At that point, I was testing out the new BM iX, the electric vehicle for my client. And I thought, why don't I try this? Maybe I'll get an idea from here. And this was the idea it came back with. Go give it a rate. I thought it could be better. I pushed it. It gave me a second idea. And then that was when I started breathing. And I said, I think I still have the client for some time. For a while, perhaps, I still have the BMW client. But what really is the impact then? Okay, this is what it can do now. It will definitely be able to do more. The impact is, the software may well reduce writing, communication, and thinking abilities dramatically in future generations. Why? I mean, if we read, we explored, we experienced, we learned. Now, if future generations could just prompt and imagine, and they get what they think is definitive answer, there's no need to read. There's no need to explore. There's no need to experience. And I think the next slide says it all. There's no need to use our brains anymore, right? I'm going to skip this. So another interview says it gets a lot of things wrong. Then on the plus side, yes, no, yes, no. The old jobs will go, but new jobs will emerge. There will be a leap in tech, and this will lead to new skills. All true, right? Like everything, there's a good side, there's a not so good side. And then I saw this. This magazine cover was entirely made by AI or using AI. And the World Economic Forum, so 10 emerging jobs and 10 declining jobs. And it's clear to see that the 10 emerging jobs coming up, data, AI, software, digital, tech, and we know what's going down. Here's something interesting. This agency in Oregon, they did a series of commercials, and they used ChatGPT to help them with the scripting. They used Midjourney to help them with the storyboarding, with the voiceovers, almost everything. But of course, the concept was human. Now, the part I highlighted, we were able to massively streamline the process. It took maybe a quarter of the budget and saved us 1/3 of the time compared to traditional development. That's good. That's bad. And I'll tell you why. You can also trick AI. So Heinz did this really clever thing. They asked AI to generate images of ketchup. And almost every image it generated was a Heinz. Because how does AI learn from what's out there? And if every other image of ketchup is Heinz, that's what you get, Heinz, right? So keep this in mind, right? Good news for startups, you don't have to start from scratch, right? So I'm consulting for a startup in the US. These are young people who imagine themselves on private jets, and they don't think they need me now, all right? So this is good. And we can have a bit of fun. This is very on-brand. Have a break, have a Kit Kat, right? So this ad was made by AI. But the cost. Will clients be willing to pay the same if an agency creates a campaign through ChatGPT? The answer is stark, very unlikely. If a machine can do it more quickly, and it's less disagreeable, this is going to happen. So let's take a look at the costs, and in this case, it's the human costs. So here's a whinger, all right? Copywriter going like, I'm pretty sure AI is going to take my job. He writes to The Guardian. And people are asking, should copywriters be worried of AI writing tools like ChatGPT? And here's another political answer. We know what the answer is, right? So this is going to happen. Many jobs in the creative industry will be impacted. To the point that Fiverr, Fiverr is the marketplace for independent creatives, right? And they wrote an open letter to AI. It's like, let's work together. Let's call a truce, right? Now, and then tech layoffs, right? This just to give a perspective, right? ChatGPT is tech. Midjourney is tech. Just January this year, not a very pretty picture. And this is, yeah, scary. Big question then. So I have a second profession. And is it legal? So, and this is from the World Economic Forum, right? So machine learning models, they appear sophisticated, but they are basically just complex, autocomplete machines that repackage the work of others as if it was something new without understanding what they produce, okay? Think clones, but smarter. And a group of artists, they are suing the creators of image generators, Stable Diffusion, and Midjourney for using their art to train AI that steals their jobs. And we're talking about giants like Getty Image. Now, this is how it works, right? AI image generators learn to create images from simple text instructions by analyzing human-made pictures, including images found online. So if we share, let's say we like to doodle, or sketches, designs, whatever. If we post everything online, that's what's going to happen, right? And the founder of Stability AI, and he confessed that they trained using a compressed file of 100,000 gigs of images scraped from the internet. That's your material. And here, caught red-handed, here's a publication, rampant factual errors and apparent plagiarism. And here's a legal opinion. So lawyers being lawyers, any lawyers in the room? Okay, I can carry on. All right, so AIs are, and here's a legal opinion, right? I copied this verbatim, word for word, right? AIs are trained by scraping large portions of the internet of copyrighted work. So if it sounds like copyright infringement, it probably is, all right? That's it, so case closed, right? That's it. The empire strikes back. Microsoft, we're talking billions of dollars. They're asking the court to throw out the lawsuits. Who will win? This is a work in progress. Okay. So then I asked myself, and I asked people smarter than me, are we racing to replace the human race then? Or at least are the people pushing AI doing that? Is he rubbing his fingers there? So Microsoft invests billions more, all right, and so on. So that's one, not to be left behind. Google, and where there's money to be made, so what next? How much time do I have left? Okay, I still have a bit of time. All right. So, World Economic Forum, again, 3 AI predictions. There will be heightened awareness and ethical concerns, increased regulatory pressure, and further investments in the space. So these are all given, right? And this is what Microsoft Office promises. It will solve our email headaches, make us look like better writers, summarize our meetings, create fancy PowerPoint visuals, and turn us all into Excel whiz. More concerning for the industry is yes, I shared some of the work. They look like junior director level, but one day they will be the boss. Actually, Stephanie, hi Stephanie. Stephanie sent me a nasty email a few days ago. Ted, send me in your presentation like now. That was a couple of days earlier because yesterday I received another note, and this is from one of the largest PR companies in China, Blue Focus. Blue Focus they secured the Microsoft business in China, and they just declared that they are getting rid of all human copywriters and creatives, and they'll be using ChatGPT. See, if you had given me a couple of days more, that slide would have been in here. Now nobody believes me, right? AI, right? So, and then there's this, yes, and we've all seen Tom Cruise and deepfake Tom Cruise. There's nothing new. Now, I'm going to talk a bit about this because this actually happened to my family. So my sister-in-law is a British lawyer, lives in Cambridge. The son went on holiday for a month in Brazil, and then she got a call from the son, say that, Mom, the gangs got me, right? Send money. He's been kidnapped. And she burst into tears and went crazy, right? And tried to call him, couldn't call him. I think different time zone, he was sleeping apparently. Eventually managed to, and he said, I was sleeping. It wasn't him, but it sounded like him, right? And then spoke to the police, right? And the police says, we get like 30, 50 of these cases a day. So this is happening. I mean, this sounds like news until I was told by Lisa that actually happened to her. And then Bart made a blunder, right? The $100 billion investment. So it got science wrong. And this just came out. Lies and misinformation, 78% of the case. But that's just like a few days ago, maybe a week at most. But things are going to change, right? It's going to get better. It's going to learn. It probably will be more accurate, but I'm not sure if it's going to be less scary. So much so that Mr. Twitter and tech leaders are calling for a pause, right? Okay, so let's call a truce. I wonder why, because maybe it's because all his money is in Twitter now. He has no money to play with AI. I think if he had money to play with AI, it would have been a different story, like full steam ahead, right? So it's a different story now, but all these dynamics at play. So I reached out to these people who have been sharing their thoughts and with me, and said, hey, I'm going to give this little talk to these people who have come all the way from US, from Canada, from Europe, from the Middle East, from everywhere. I can't leave them hanging, right? I have to give them something definitive. Yes, I can tell them it's a work in progress, and then I got this from a very dear friend. And he said, the godfather of AI. So this is Jeffrey Hinton. He's the cognitive psychologist, computer scientist who helped Google develop AI. And of course, that being what he does for a living. And he says he thinks it's comparable in scale with the Industrial Revolution or electricity, or maybe the vehicle. So there you have it. But the reporter interrogated him and see what he says. I hope it plays.
used to agree.
Until quite recently, I thought it was going to be like 20 to 50 years before we have general purpose AI. Now I think it may be 20 years or less.
Some people think it could be like 5.
I wouldn't completely rule that possibility out now. Whereas a few years ago, I would have said no way.
Are we close to the computers coming up with their own ideas for improving themselves?
Yes, we might be.
And then it could just go fast.
That's an issue, right? We have to think hard about how to control that.
Yeah, can we?
We don't know. We haven't been there yet, but we can try.
Okay, that seems kind of concerning.
Yes.
What do you think the chances are of AI just wiping out humanity?
It's not inconceivable.
Okay.
That's all I'll say.
How, Hinton wonders, will we manage a technology?
It's not inconceivable. That's all I'm saying. From the godfather of AI. It's a good thing he has lived to a ripe old age. Yeah. Me, I'm 40. So I have 3 minutes more, so I'm going to wrap up. Right? So is AI a friend or foe, right? So this is from my creative director of technologies. He's working in London now and says AI won't create agencies. The people who know how to use AI will, right? And that's him. So this is what I think. So AI can do the parts, writing, illustration, design, image, blah, 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 possibly better, certainly faster than most people, not too long from now, if not already. But someone has to come up with an original idea that makes the parts useful. Someone has to come up with an idea no one has thought of before, like put ABBA songs together into a musical called Mamma Mia. The songs are already there. You can rearrange the songs if you like. You can get Pierce Brosnan to sing it badly. But you have to come up with the idea to put the songs together to make that musical Mamma Mia. So there's still a need for someone who's not just intelligent. AI can be that. There's a need for someone who can feel joy and sorrow, who can laugh and cry, who can make people laugh and cry. Someone who has that human quality called emotion. And I think the difference is emotional intelligence. That's the difference between human and artificial intelligence. And we humans will always have a place at the table until AI acquires emotional intelligence. Okay. Okay. Again, that's the problem. One missing slide. All right. I'll describe that slide to you. The slide says, as I mentioned earlier, AI is a work in progress, right? So I cannot end this on a definitive note, right? And we can't be sure what will happen. We just have to see, right? Like we do with many things, see what happens, right? But there's one thing we can be sure of. There's one thing we know, all right? And we have 46 seconds to go. And that is I'm the person standing between you and a sumptuous dinner, right? So I'm going to leave, on that note, I'm going to leave you with this little bit of good news. All right? So with that, thank you very much for your patience and your interests, and to all the co-conspirators who shared all this stuff with you. Yeah, if you do not disagree, I'll give you their email addresses. You can go look them up. Right. Thank you.
Ted, that was so entertaining.
Can you just go back one slide? Or is that not possible now? Ken?
You going to give us the numbers?
You don't.
No.
Yes.
Oh,
can you take a picture of me with this, because they want to know I acknowledge them.
Oh. For real?
Yeah, I'm serious.
Do you want me-
A picture of me with that.
Do you want me to do portrait mode as well?
Right, thank you.
No,
Thank you, everyone.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Wow, that was just...